What we wanted to do in this movie was go the opposite of some action movies that have been made for the last five or 10 years. There's no martial arts. There's no wire work. We wanted to do some brutal street fighting the way Jack Reacher fights.
It was designing a fighting style. We didn't want it to feel excessively overtrained. We wanted it to feel very real and very visceral. The other thing that was very important is we didn't want everybody waiting their turn to fight. That we wanted it to feel very kinetic and very much like a street fight.
Remember, you wanted this.
The biggest component probably was we didn't want editing to create action where there was none. We wanted to be able to execute a fight scene where you could stand back from it and watch it as though you were watching a street fight, as opposed to something that was assembled in the cutting room and you felt like something had happened, but it all happened too quickly. And that takes a lot of discipline, because you have to be willing to let certain pieces of action unfold slower than you normally would. And more importantly, the action has to look real without any help from the camera. That means the hits are harder and they're a lot closer, and the fights themselves are a lot more chaotic.
He's got to be a threatening guy. It's not a defense system. He is someone who will hurt you in order to defend himself. And if you enter that arena, you're going to get hurt.
Ooh, really?
Run, guys, run! Cut, really nice. Cut!
That's good? Are you all right?
Good. Okay.
We met these guys who have a fighting system called KC Fighting Method. And it's a street fighting method developed by the gypsies in Spain, actually, by a guy called Justo Dieguez and his co-founder Andy Norman. And it's a system which basically says, if you come into my space, I'm going to destroy you. So don't come into my space. And we thought that would work really well for Reacher.
I don't want anything to get too over-choreographed, so I trained him how to fight in that particular style. I worked with him for about a couple months, and pretty much on a daily basis.
Sometimes 12 o'clock at night, Tom will come in and go, let's do 2 hours training. It's 24/7. He's, boom, you know, let's train.
Yeah, there you go. That's a big motion. See that bring back? Yep.
Rob Alonso actually taught Tom how to fight for this movie, so that when he goes into a fight mentally, he's there. He's there, he knows he can take you down. He's not an actor doing moves. He's an actor fighting.
All right, let's shoot, guys. We're ready. Number ones, please. We're ready to shoot.
Once, we nailed the choreography. We had Caleb there, Chris. Everyone was looking at it going, okay, here's how I want to shoot it. Here's, we have that down. It was just repetitive. Like what I do with action is I just keep rehearsing, because the timing has to be pretty spot on. Otherwise, someone's going to get badly. It's going to all go so wrong. Someone's going to get badly hurt.
Yes.
Like the bathroom scene.
Yes, the fight in the bathroom is completely different.
It was having to back up to that door, and it's all in one shot. Chris is going to do it all in one shot, and every time it was, as I'm stepping back,
I was more nervous than
that was the most. It's like, put me in that car.
Yeah.
Put me in the car, having a blind, normally when stuff's coming at me in a fight, I have spatial awareness. I have to back up to a point, and I'm just waiting. Everyone's waiting as everyone's leaning forward when that bat was coming through.
Tom. Cut it. Tom, you good?
He hit him? Tom, you good? No.
No, looked like it.
That was awesome.
Ready?
Holy crap.
We built the set around the choreography.
Yeah. Well, that's typical of our working relationship. I had written a scene, in this very small bathroom, in this very small space, and the fight that I wrote was very quick and very violent and showed how Reacher, even when he's down, he's never finished and he can fight his way out. Tom read the scene and he said, there's a great opportunity for humor in this scene. You have two big guys who've chosen a really terrible place to beat somebody up. And what Tom really wanted to do is, he said, I want a fight scene where if they'd waited for me to step out into the hallway, they would have won. They really chose a poor battleground. And I like that idea, and it's very brave, I think, for an actor to do that. You're not accustomed to actors saying, yeah, I should have gotten my ass kicked. If I'd taken one step back farther, I would have lost this fight.
It's a complex fight because there's so much to break in there. Everything gets smashed. Things like the tiles breaking, people falling into a bath, it's got to be soft, the window breaks, the mirror breaks, the lamps break. It's a planning nightmare.
I got this!
It's a very quick scene, but the amount of conversations we had about the house, about that bathroom set, constantly looking at the space, how big, how small, what stuff should be in there, what stuff should be broken. And that's also something where we look at, okay, here's the budget we have. How do we maximize character and storytelling and make it exciting? How do we do it in a way where the audience never loses geography, we're on character? And it's a real challenge because it's, you know, the instinct is, well, let's go cut, cut, cut to make it exciting. How do we make it tense, have a level of violence, yet still let the audience know this is dangerous, but you're going to be okay. You're okay, you know, because it's always, the tipping point can be in a point where the audience, it's just too much. It's a fine line we're riding with the tone of this film.
Got it? Okay.
Okay, ready, and roll camera, please. Ready, and go!
We looked at the geography of the quarry and we just thought, how would this be cool? Chris, it's all in the details. The details have to be right so that if a Navy SEAL does watch this show and sees what we're doing, he'll go, oh, okay, they get it. Chris McQuarrie's brother, Doug McQuarrie, had an awful lot of input in that sequence, and he's an ex-Navy SEAL, so he could come in and apply proper military tactics.
Well, what's your bigger fear, him or them?
My bigger fear would be the two guys closer with full auto.
That would worry me too, but you've got Cash up there, right? Just put them back?
And I'm assuming that Cash is taking care of Charlie, because Charlie has started shooting.
So that's what you got to
Cash
figure
is
out.
covering
There
Charlie.
You go.
All the actors were trained in sniper firing, and we all did a lot of research on, you know, how snipers work and how they spot people and the trajectory of bullets in the air, and there's lots of really interesting facts about how those guys work.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Don't need to feel wet enough, guys. Feeling good? We're good! Your cams rolling. Ready, and 3, 2, 1, action!
We had this fight in the rain in this wonderful quarry, but that was night work, and it was raining. We were putting rain in there. It was Tom's idea, the rain.
The tone of the fights were there, and we always talked about each one has to have its own story, but it's propelling the story, propelling the characters.
And to build on that philosophy, and each fight had a different philosophy that way. It had a different story that we wanted to tell. And the first one starts out pretty funny. You're with Reacher, you're confident, you feel like you're going to come out on top. The second one, you're not so sure. And then, of course, there's the fight at the end with Jai Courtney, where the emotional drive of the scene is completely different. And it's one in which now the whole movie has been building up to this, and it's where Reacher finally lets his anger out.
It's fantastic. It looks fantastic. It's amazing atmosphere and a great fight. But 12 hours at night in a quarry, oh, that was hard work. But in the end, anything that's good is normally hard.